Hip hip hooray, it's official. We say goodbye to winter and welcome to the spring season. And to celebrate, we start this week's Explore Tulsa with a song.
Then it's story time.
Followed by a mission to build.
Plus the big bucket list.
Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. We are very excited to have you here with us to begin spring on this week's Explore Tulsa. Stevie, please don't tell me you're gonna sing.
Trish, I'm so excited. The Tulsa Founders Chorus Chapter President sent me an email inviting me to be a part of their singing group.
I saw that email, and he asked us to stop by and do a segment on the Tulsa Founders Chorus. The same way we invite anyone to send you an email to stevie@exploretulsa.com so they can be featured on the show.
That may be the way it looks on the surface, but they want me.
Well, it is a chorus. I'm sure they have enough good singers to drown you out.
I bought a ticket back in 1998, I believe, to what they call the Show of Champions at a district convention for our Southwestern District that was held here in Tulsa. That show took place at the Brady Theater. My wife and I went there, and from the moment I started listening to that, I was looking at her and said, I can do this. And she said, go for it. And that was, 15, 16 years ago, and the rest is history.
Well, I started in the Barbershop Society in 1985. I had a friend in high school who took me to an event, a rehearsal on a Tuesday night. And then when I got home that night, of course it was a school night, I was in high school, and my father was waiting at the door, wondering where I was till 11:30 at night on a school night. And so I said to my father, if you will go with me next week, I'll prove to you that I wasn't out doing drugs or doing anything bad. So the next week, my father went with the two of us to the rehearsal, and he joined as well. So I didn't get grounded, everything was fine, and so that's 30 years ago.
I've been a barbershopper for 40 years, and I first started in Wichita, Kansas. I have been a pharmaceutical sales representative for many, many years, and I was calling on this doctor that I knew had sung barbershop, and he said he would see me that night when he finished his patients if I would go sing with him afterwards. And so, not wanting to turn down an opportunity to see him and also to sing, well, I said, okay.
Once I got involved, it really became a part of my life. And that's what happened to me. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it happened to me. It became a lifestyle for my family and I.
I think most everyone that sings barbershop or likes to sing will find that we have such a great camaraderie together. And the type of music we sing is a cappella, so we do not have any instruments. Our voices are our instruments. And to be able to create the great sounds and the like that you can hear every word very distinctly that we sing, and the harmonies that come together, it just really gets to you very, very quickly, and you want to just keep on doing it.
We want to share the hobby. It's such a great thing to do together with other men. The fellowship is a huge part of this. But once you get guys in singing and creating the harmony, it's a feeling inside that you can't recreate otherwise.
3. You're all the world to me, my love. You make everything so fine.
We always talk about in our barbershop society that the music comes first, and as long as we can get the music down, and then if we can just add the next level of excitement through a little bit of choreography and storytelling, I think the audience appreciates that more. Yes, winning the division championship of the Southwestern District, first time that the Tulsa Chorus has done that since 1960, so it's been 50 54 years since that happened last time. And to be able to be out front of these guys and, 6 months before the contest, challenge them that this is something we could accomplish if we all just put our minds to it, and if we were focused as one, then we could accomplish it. And then we went and did it, and it was a thrill of a lifetime.
And I got to say, it's a great way to be remembered.
Those are some great guys, and it was a lot of fun just hanging out with them.
If anyone other than Stevie has ever been curious about being part of a chorus, visit TulsaFounders.org.
Or you can stop by Tuesday night, 7 p.m. when they're out rehearsing at the John Knox Presbyterian Church.
Now, something you are pretty good at, Stevie, is telling a story.
I'm so glad you asked, because I got a doozy for you, Trish.
Ooh, well, save it, because next up, we found the perfect spot for all storytellers.
You must be talking about the OK So Tulsa Story Slam.
Yep, and next we'll visit the Founders as they get ready for the big night at Enzo's when we come back with more Explore Tulsa.
Ever since the first movie theaters opened in the early 1900s, man has been trying everything to bring that same experience home to enjoy with their families. And for more than 30 years, Video Revolution and their home entertainment experts have been making those dreams come true by designing custom home theater solutions for both in and outdoor use. From 1080p LEDs to the brand new Sony 4K flat panel TVs, or come in to see the latest in sound bars and surround sound setups. Always the top name brands are found at Video Revolution. That same electronic expertise we also apply to your business communications network, from boardroom automation to video wall presentations. No matter what technology the future holds, you can count on Video Revolution to be leading the way. Tulsa's headquarters for the best selection and installation of cutting-edge electronics. Video Revolution on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Hello, I'm Lori Lewis. I'm the Executive Director of the Broken Arrow History Museum, and you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Hello, and welcome back for more Explore Tulsa.
Trish, did I ever tell you about the time that I was working as a love doctor on a radio station in Dallas? Love song, dedication, and matchmaking.
Before you say another word, I found the perfect venue for you and anyone else with an interesting story to tell.
I've heard of people talking about such a place, which actually reminds me of another story.
How about we let the creators of OK So Tulsa Story Slam tell their story first?
My good friend Michelle and I decided that we wanted to start a storytelling event because there wasn't one here in Tulsa. But they do it all over the country in major cities. And basically, it's just true life storytelling. Anybody that will come into this audience tonight can tell a true story from their life, a 5-minute story based on the theme of the night.
Surrounded by water and darkness, waiting on the fire department to come save me.
We were actually not good friends in high school. In fact, there's a story behind that, but I won't tell you what it is.
It was over a boy. And we were different in different cliques in high school.
You know, when Facebook just started and you were reconnecting with people, we found each other there and have been fast friends ever since.
Well, we started having lunch once a week and going to like music concerts and stuff. And one day we were at lunch and she said, let's host a story slam. And I said, okay, let's do it. We first started out over at Phoenix Coffee House on Peoria, and they were really gracious about letting us come in, but we just outgrew it. And then we're so grateful for Enzo coming in like they did and allowing us this wonderful space.
Anyone from any walk of life will come and tell a true story. Professors, poets, teachers.
So I used to be a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman in Mississippi.
I actually stumbled across their Facebook page, and the theme for that night was skeletons in the closet. And I'm an archaeologist, and I have a few stories about skeletons that I've encountered, and it was something that's always intrigued me, you know, telling stories in front of an audience. And I came down and I got up on stage, and I had never been so nervous in all my life. And the story I told ended up winning that night. And from that moment, I was hooked on storytelling. One of them got sick one time and couldn't do it, and they asked me to help co-host since I was always there. And then I've just been working with them ever since to help promote and build up this great event.
I mean, there are funny stories, there are very serious and somber stories. A good story will have an element of both. It's okay to be funny, but we want it to be a real story that's happened, you know, something that's really happened to you, not like a stand-up routine. We don't want any of that. It needs to be something that's really happened to you.
I kept driving and then water started coming through my floorboards.
We get people in here that have really funny stories that are like natural entertainers. And then we have people, and this is what is just so human about it, we have people who come and they tell a story because maybe they don't have a lot of people to talk to in their life, and I don't want to say it's like therapy, but they get to share with someone what's going on in their life.
So that's the story of how I ended up on comps with a vacuum cleaner in my hand.
It is definitely a lost art. It really is. You know, our ancestors used to sit around campfires. You know, even my generation, I remember growing up with my grandfather sitting on his lap or on the porch, you know, listening to stories about his childhood. And with today's technology and kids are like this all the time, I mean, nobody listens to what anybody has to say. You can't even go to dinner anymore and tell stories without every member at the table being on their phone. These stories connect us. They remind us that we all have the same joys, the same struggles. And it's when you hear stories, you know, and someone can bring you into their life, you realize just how connected we are.
2 square miles of nothing in Central California, which is where our family moved.
Well, I think that this format is all personal stories, and it gives, you know, regular people an opportunity to get up and share a little bit of themselves. And I have heard some of the most powerful stories in my life on that stage.
It's only once a month, but you know, if you stay to see all the people who come in, you'll notice that there's a lot of people who really enjoy this, and it's, you know, they're one time out a month that they can sneak out on a weeknight.
Stories that connect with people, stories that make you laugh and cry, and the whole gamut. And it's just such a personable experience, and it's amazing. And I think when people come to this, they come back.
I love the idea of people going live on stage and sharing their story. When I was a kid, everybody would go by Mr. Kendall's house because he would tell these great stories and hand out comic books. Trish, you should tell some of your stories.
Well, that's the great thing about stories. They need listeners too. So whether you're like Stevie here and want to tell stories, or if you're more like me and just want to be in the audience.
Well, Enzo's on the second Wednesday of each month is the place to be.
You can also look up OK So Tulsa Story Slam on Facebook to learn more.
I think one of the great things about telling a story is doing something worth telling a story about.
So true, Stevie. And just such a task would be doing volunteer work with Habitat for Humanity.
Now that's a story I'd love to tell. You actually doing work.
Watch it, buddy. I'm actually pretty good with power tools.
This is something you won't want to miss when we visit Paul next at Habitat for Humanity, just ahead on Explore Tulsa.
Hello, I'm John Erling with Voices of Oklahoma. Our great state has been home to countless individuals whose place in history has been earned through each of their many accomplishments. Voices of Oklahoma's mission is to preserve their story in an oral history presentation like none other. Accounts direct from famous Oklahomans, political figures, and many others who have left their indelible mark on the development, history, and future of Oklahoma. So please, treat yourself by listening to those who are the voices of Oklahoma.
Stevie from Explore Tulsa with my friend and optometrist for many years, Dr. Robert Zellner. Tell everybody why it's so good to come in to see you.
Well, that's a great question. Let's see, we've got 2 great locations. We try to stay cutting edge at every point along the way because, let's face it, everybody wants to come in and get taken care of in a timely fashion and get the latest, greatest stuff and save some money and get on with their life and see clearly.
And if you don't believe it, look on the website.
Absolutely, drzellner.com. You can find that we have our 2 locations at 69th and Memorial and 3030 South Harvard, or you can give us a call at 749-2020 or 461-2020.
And I got 4 kids, and I got to tell you, as a big family like that, it's affordable too.
Oh yes, and of course, the number one reason, you save some money. I mean, with our 2-pair specials, with our different unique packages that we put together, I mean, you can come in here and your money can go a lot farther than anywhere else.
And that's why with Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, seeing is believing.
Oh, I like that, Stevie. Well done.
Jeff Rottmeyer, owner of Athletic Mission Baseball Academy. You're watching Explore Tulsa.
One thing I've learned about Tulsans since doing Explore Tulsa is that they love to do things to benefit others throughout the community and inspire hope.
One of those great efforts is volunteering with Tulsa Habitat for Humanity.
Here, Trish, hold the nail on the board.
I know you don't expect me to trust the way you handle a hammer.
No, I just want you to hold it right there. It'd be nice if we could work together as a team, you know, when we help folks out for Tulsa Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, then let me have the hammer and you hold the nail while Paul Kent tells us all about the great work they do.
Well, Habitat for Humanity was founded back in 1976 out in Americus, Georgia by Millard Fuller. He was an entrepreneur back in the 60s as a young man, and then started a housing work in the southern part of Africa. Came back to the United States and decided he could do a housing work with low-income families, and Habitat was founded then in '76. Tulsa Habitat was actually formed back in 1988. And so it was kind of a grassroots movement of just people who thought that we needed to be helping low-income families find a way to own their own homes. We started out in buying old houses and remodeling them in the early years. And then about 1994, we started building new homes. And today we've helped over 325 families become homeowners. The Habitat mission is really, we seek to put God's love into action by bringing people to build homes, communities, and hope. And probably the greatest thing that happens for families when they become homeowners is they find a new sense of hope, because these are families who would not qualify for a conventional mortgage. We qualify them just like a mortgage and bank would. So for them, you know, it builds their hope and gives them a sense of their future. Kind of being able to say, I've got some control over my life now. Our families apply to our program. It's a home ownership education program, and we qualify them based on 3 different criteria. The first is that they need better housing conditions. So we look at the homes that they live in, or a lot of times 99% of our families come out of a rental culture. Second thing is that we look to see, we look at their income. We try to look at their work history. We look at their debt to income ratio. All the financial qualifications that a bank would look at, we would look at too. And then the third thing is we try to be sure that they have the ability and the willingness to complete our home ownership education program. It's a 300-hour sweat equity program. We teach them about money management skills, their home insurance. They spend 100 hours in our construction shop building cabinets that actually go in the houses and getting hands-on training. And so, you know, when they go through that, they gain a lot of confidence, self-confidence, because now they know how to do repairs. We even do a basic home maintenance class so that they know some basic skills, a lot of different things that you learn to do along the way as a homeowner. You know, normally we've, over the last probably 10 years, we've been generally building somewhere 18 to 20 homes a year here in Tulsa. Right now we'll have about 50 families going through our education program. So actually next year we're looking at probably somewhere between 25 and 30 families who will look to either build their homes with us or maybe buy one of our pre-owned homes. You know, I think everybody who worked with Habitat has a sense of accomplishing a mission of helping their neighbors, because the reality is that the people that we work with, they are our neighbors, and that's one of the things. We're a Christian-based organization, and so we really think that everybody in our community is a neighbor. And so when you're helping people, you get a great deal of satisfaction. And I really think that the hope that is built is not just in the families that are going to be buying their homes, but it restores our hope in humanity as we work alongside of the families, because they're going to be helping to build these houses, as well as you're working with volunteers from either your company, your church, your synagogue, you know, just friends from your neighborhood. It just restores that sense of hope.
What great work they're doing. Plus, Habitat will even give you construction lessons before you go out to work on a home.
Lesson number 1, don't let Trish do the hammering.
To learn more about how you can help take part in building or buying a Habitat home, visit tulsahabitat.org.
Helping out like that can be really good for the soul, but you may also have a thing or two left on your bucket list that you want everyone to know about.
And that's why Chelsea McGuire is hard at work trying to bring Tulsa a Before I Die wall.
You'll find them all over the world, and we'll learn how to get one right here next when Explore Tulsa continues.
Welcome to Video Revolution's new Dolby Atmos surround theater room. This is our new theater room that features our 11-speaker array, which provides you with an immersive surround sound experience and allows you the same technology found in theaters now brought to your home. This system features a Sony ES 4K projector, which will allow you the best resolution in video on the market. This new Atmos theater system allows us a height experience added to our surround sound environment. So now we can be truly surrounded by speakers not only around us, but also above us as well. So now when producers master an audio track for a movie, they can treat sounds as objects and strategically move them around your listening position to provide you the best in experience and immersion into the movie. With this projection system in combination with the projection screen that rejects ambient lighting, we're now able to actually have more lighting in a theater room than ever before without any detriment to the picture experience. Our Atmos theater is also controlled through our RTI controls panel, which allows us to control the lighting as well as the actual scenes for the players. One keypad on the wall or a simple iPad control interface that we can design for you means no need to handle messy remotes. I can tell you about this all day, however the only way to really experience it yourself is come down and see me at Video Revolution.
If you're like me and you have lots of things you want to get done before, well, you know, the Grim Reaper comes a-knocking, then you'll be so glad you stuck around for more Explore Tulsa.
A Before I Die wall isn't as dark as all that. It's more like art and expression for thousands all over the world.
Well, then I'm going to need more than one piece of chalk.
Basically, it's a public art piece. It was first created by an artist named Candy Chang. She had lost someone that she loved, and she started kind of contemplating death and all the things that she wanted to do before she died. And so she kind of decided that it would be a great public art display. She got a stencil and put on a chalkboard Before I Die, and then said, before I die, I want to blank, and let the community, which was in New Orleans at the time, write down what they had to say about that. I was kind of actually an introvert in high school. I gained a lot of confidence when I was in college, and through that, I became involved with the Residential Halls Association and putting on events and trying to get more people to live on campus and be active on campus. So I think that's kind of when inspiration for me hit to start inspiring other people. I've seen people go crazy with it and say things like, before I die, I want to clone sloths or create teacup elephants. But then I've also seen really inspirational things like, I want to find my biological parents. Or I want to build a home for my family, things like that. It's a global project, and I wanted to bring it to Tulsa, and I wanted to inspire people in Tulsa to do the things they wanted to do before they die, but also inspire them to do it here in Tulsa. So that's why with this Before I Die wall, we actually started a contest that has never been done with the global projects before. And the project is that people can write what they want to do before they die and then submit it through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag Before I Die Tulsa. And once a month we have a judging committee that gets together, decides which one's the most feasible to do here in Tulsa, and we work with community partners and help make that dream a reality. And it's a way to be positive about you can do what you want to do and you can do it here. I want to have multiple sizes that fit in multiple locations. I'm thinking about parks, maybe restaurants, different nonprofits, just places where people are going to be out and about, or places that really want to showcase the people in their organization and all the things that they aspire to do and want that creativity brought into their organization. fundraising we're doing on Kickstarter right now, that is to build the walls. We're going to custom do them and put custom frames on them for wherever they're going to be. The rest of the money is also, it's for maintenance. And then also the money will go towards funding people's dreams and aspirations. It just makes me feel so good. It's so fun to see the creativity that Tulsans have and just the dreams and hopes and goals that these people have. And there's so many things that I wouldn't have even expected to be on the board. Like I never thought that someone would write to meet their biological parents. And that's such I mean, it just tugs at your heart. I am so proud to be helping with the project, and I'm so proud to just be a part of it and let people be creative and really think about what do I want to do before I die.
When you see the walls from all around the world, it's pretty cool to see what everyone is thinking and willing to share.
If you'd like to help Chelsea in her efforts to rebuild Tulsa's Before I Die wall, look up Before I Die Project Tulsa on Kickstarter.
Or learn more about Chelsea at takeheartevents.com. I'm going to put, I want to play pro baseball.
It's not a magic wall, Stevie, but maybe in your next life.
Stick around. There's more Explore Tulsa just ahead.
Hi, Dr. Robert Zellner here. For over 20 years, I've offered affordable, convenient eye care in Tulsa. Right now, you can get one pair of glasses or contact lenses starting at just $99, or my two-pair deal for $129. Hey, and as always, the eye exam's included. Walk-ins are always welcome. Glasses are ready in about an hour. Plus, we have over 2,000 frames to choose from. We're open 7 days a week. Come see why we're voted Tulsa's best. And our drive-thru at 69th and Memorial makes pickup simple and easy. For the best eye care value in Tulsa, Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates.
Hi, I'm Anna Rutherford, and I'm a professional artist, and you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Be sure and join us next week when we learn how to be crafty with Ellen Madlock at Crafty & Company.
Special thanks to David, Jan, and Doug, along with all the members of the Tulsa Founders Chorus.
Well, thanks too to Branda, Michelle, and Ryan for giving us storytellers a stage with OK So Tulsa Story Slam. And thanks to Paul Kent and all those involved with the great things they're doing at Habitat for Humanity.
And Chelsea McGuire, good luck in bringing Tulsa our next Before I Die wall.
Now remember, if you missed any of the show, you can always catch us at ExploreTulsa.com.
As always, each week we feature the people, places, and attractions that make us proud to call Tulsa our home.
Hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook and share with us someone you think Tulsa should know more about.
Plus remember, Explore Tulsa is brought to you by Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Stop by, say hello to Ron and all the guys for your home entertainment needs.
And Explore Tulsa is also proudly brought to you by Dr. Robert Zollner and Associates.
Home of the two pair for a $129 deal with 2 locations, 3030 South Harvard and 69th and Memorial.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this week's show, but we'll see you next week right here on Explore Tulsa.